Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode number 322 of the Comic Watchers Show. He's Chad, I'm Matt, and this is our show where we talk about comics. Our guest this week, talking to us about all things symbiotes, predator Bloodsports, and youth groups, of all things, is author Jordan Morris. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Hello, it's great to be here. Finally, the world gets to hear what three bearded guys think about podcasts.
Yes, yes.
Three similar
bearded
men.
nerds.
I'm
Absolutely.
glad everybody got the memo on that.
Yes, make sure to grow a beard before the show.
That's
Throw
right.
on a black T-shirt. And...
We are good to go. Well, Jordan, how the heck are you, my brother? How are things? Like, you've had a lot of big upswing happening in your world lately.
Yeah, it's fun. I've had a busy year, but it's all been really cool, fun stuff, and I'm like loving how it's turning out. So yeah, it's all been very fun and cool. I wish I had a more interesting answer than it's fun and cool, but it really, really is. Yeah.
Now,
Well,
now,
you're
Matt,
living the
was
dream.
that a pun that a big upswing in his career since he's on the all new Venom?
Oh, no. I was
Swing, yes.
not
Spider-Man,
intentional.
good, yeah.
Good call, Chad. I would love to claim credit for that, but no, alas. So, Jordan, before we dive in, tell us a little bit about your comic book origin as a reader and a fan, and how you got into the business.
Sure, yes, this old chestnut. So I have been a comics reader since I was, since I could read, basically. I was an 80s, 90s kid, so, read a lot of, X-Men, read a lot of Spidey, read a lot of, like, Spidey clone-based stories. But also, like Mad Magazine and Archie, kind of like stuff you got at the grocery store. That was big for me. Mom has to get the kids something cheap so they'll shut up in the grocery store. That was a big part of comics reading for me as a kid. And then, and I kind of just followed them as I got older. And then, you get into your Dark Knight Returns and your Watchmen, and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't just kid stuff. And I've just been like a reader for my whole life. And and then I just kind of recently-ish in my life, I've gotten to actually write them. And it's been such a wonderful thrill. I just like... Yeah, it's been so cool to like do comics and now to get to contribute to these characters and stories that I've loved for years. So yeah, it's all very cool and fun. So my first graphic novel that I was a writer on was called Bubble. It is a book from First Second. I co-wrote it with a great writer, Sarah Morgan, art by Tony Cliff, and that was an adaptation of a scripted podcast we did for the Maximum Fun Network. So that was my first comic. I had done, TV writing and other kinds of writing before that, and kind of always thought that, well, I don't really draw, so comics, it's something I'll probably have to like enjoy as a fan, but not, it probably isn't something I'll ever do. But after we had done that scripted podcast, I'll pitch Bubble a little bit so people know what it's about. It's kind of a sci-fi comedy about a bunch of hipsters who live in this kind of domed city, kind of a Logan's Run style domed city, and they have to kind of participate in this life and death version of Uber to survive. And there's mutants and a government conspiracy and all that good stuff. So that was the story of the podcast. And then First Second got in touch and asked if we wanted to make it into a comic book, and it was like such an exciting ask to get because, again, I had always just kind of thought like, comics, I'll read them, but I'll never do them. And so,
Right.
So now that I had, and so now I had like that book, and that book I could use to, kind of present myself to other editors and say, hey, I'd like to do more. And that's kind of like the start of me doing comics.
So you said you worked in. I know you worked for Comedy Central and stuff. What did you do in your television career?
Yes. The research goes deep on this show. Yes. So I worked a lot in late night. So I worked for on Comedy Central. I did a show called At Midnight. So I worked for that. And kind of before that, I worked on a late night show for a TV network that's not around anymore called Fuel TV. And that was kind of my first like TV job as like a writer. And then, yeah, kind of after that, I've done a lot of kids animation and some stuff like that. So, yeah, that was all stuff I had been doing before comics.
All right. So why don't we jump right into it?
Yeah.
You're currently writing Predator Blood. It's not Bloodsport. It's Blood something.
Yes. Bloodshed. Predator Bloodshed. Is the name of the book. We're at issue 4. Issue 5 should be on stands very soon. And yeah, that is a Predator.
Next week.
There you go. Next week. Yeah. So hopefully folks are checking it out already. Kind of the pitch is that, like, what if the Predator got loose in a kind of Mortal Kombat style tournament? I'm a big fighting games guy, so Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, I've loved all that stuff. And yeah. And cat in frame. We love that. Love a cat in frame.
How did you wind up getting tapped to write this latest Predator miniseries?
Sure. So yeah, so I had done a story for the Predator anthology called Black, White, and Blood. That was an anthology they did of kind of mostly black and white Predator comics, but you would get these splashes of color for the blood. So human blood, red, obviously, and then green for the Predator blood. Very cool series. If I think those are being collected now, so if you want to get those, very cool little series. So I had done a story for one of the anthologies. My story was about none of us. I shouldn't say none of us. Many Predator fans consider the Shane Black movie perhaps one of their least favorite Predator movies,
which is crazy because I loved it.
You're a huge
That's
fan.
just me.
Yeah. And so there is we see the Predator's hunting dogs in that. So I did a little story about those hunting dogs. I thought that was kind of a fun, a fun area to explore. So I did kind of a story about a human adopting one of those dogs and then the Predator coming to get it back. And yeah, I think they liked working with me on that. I turned my script in on time. So they, I think, wanted to do a mini because Predator Badlands was coming out, so I think they wanted to make sure to have comics out there because the Predator was going to be, kind of out there. So yeah, they asked me for pitches, and I pitched them a whole, doc of stuff, and the thing they kind of responded to was Predator gets out in an underground fighting tournament, and hence Predator Bloodshed.
Well, okay. I love it.
So, were there any other inspirations for the series besides your love of fighting games?
Yeah, I mean, something I thought about when I was coming up with the story is that something I think the Predator movies don't get credit for is having great ensembles. They're really good ensemble movies. Like that first Predator, we think about it as an Arnold movie, but God, there's so many great performances in that movie. There's Bill Duke, and there's Jesse Ventura, Shane Black himself is in it, and yeah, I don't know. And Predator 2 just has this fun, weird cast. Bill Paxton and Maria Conchita Alonso, and so I was thinking of like how. This one has to have a cast, right? It has to have a cool group of weirdos with like fun, compelling backstories who kind of play off each other and give each other shit and have kind of interpersonal dynamics. So yeah, that was also something I was thinking about, and I think it that idea hooks nicely into the idea of the fighting game, which the best fighting games have the coolest cast of most diverse weirdos. So yeah,
as we've all learned from 4 Mortal Kombat movies now.
Oh yeah, sure. We have learned that.
So was there any level of intimidation in stepping into that world? I mean, like you said, there's some pretty iconic names that are attached to it, and other, some other. Don't take this the wrong way, but more famous comic writers, more tenured comic writers.
Oh yeah, hard to get less famous than me. So yeah, and I loved the Dark Horse comics as a kid. Like I read the Dark Horse comics. That's where we get Alien vs. Predator, and I read the Benjamin Percy comics. That guy did such a great job with them, and yeah, I was totally intimidated. I like. I love this franchise. I mean, I mean, the original Predator is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And again, I read the comics, I played the video games. So yeah, there's definitely a little sense of like, don't fuck it up. but I kind of, you try and you're never going to get rid of that voice, that it'll always be there, and you just kind of have to like what you're writing, kind of know that like you have good collaborators. Like I know that like the editors at Marvel love this stuff, and they get such good artists. I want to shout out Rory Coleman and Roland Boshi, who drew the book. Just did such a beautiful job. I mean, the Predator is so cool, the action is so cool. So like, you when you're writing the thing, you could be like, oh, I'm under pressure, but just like know that like it's gonna look good. It's gonna be like overseen by people who like love comics and love the franchise. So you're not just doing this thing in a vacuum. You're doing it as a team, and you have good teammates. So yeah, I think that's something I think about when I'm feeling a little bit intimidated by the task.
So did you use writing the book as an excuse just to watch all the Predator movies again?
It was fun. Yeah, fun homework assignment for sure. So I definitely rewatched a ton of them when I got asked to do the story for the anthology. So I was already pretty boned up when they asked me to do the mini. But yeah, very fun to get to go back and watch the Adrian Brody one, and to rewatch all the Dan Trachtenberg stuff. Yeah, very cool. I mean, hey, if you have to have homework, that's the kind of homework you want.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Now you've also been dipping your toe in the larger Marvel swimming pool, and you wrote the recent Web of Venom one shot that introduced us to a new symbiote slinger.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I don't. For those who haven't read it, I won't spoil who it is, but I will say I was pleasantly surprised, and I hope we get to see more of this individual. What can you tell us about this project?
Well, I can tell you that we are getting to see more of that individual in the Amazing Venom, just announced last week, I believe, coming out September 16th from Marvel Comics. I'm doing it with artist Luke Ross. And yeah, it is if we want to keep it a secret, let's do it. It is a kind of weird D-list Marvel character that gets a symbiote suit. And and then they go on kind of adventures, and it's one of my favorite like D-list deep cut Marvel characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We love the A-listers. We love Spidey. We love Thor, Doctor Doom.
Marvel has the best D-listers.
They do, for sure. Couldn't agree more. Maybe the Flash has better wacky villains. Maybe the Flash does. But Spidey's D-listers are so funny and weird. And yeah, I wanted to kind of like tell a story in that world with those characters. I'm a big fan of the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Great series from Steve Lieber and Nick Spencer, and that they're collecting this now in its own little collection. Definitely go out and get that book. But I love that series. It's like the Shocker and Boomerang and Speed Demon and all these like Spidey weirdos getting together and trying to be kind of more than the sum of their parts. And I kind of wanted to tell a story that was like in that world with those types of weirdos. So yeah, that was Web of Venom, and I think people liked the one shot, so we're doing a mini, The Amazing Venom. And let's see, do I have anything else to say about that? Yeah.
Didn't you also get dragged into Spider-Versity and I'm thinking Queen of Black for some reason, but maybe not.
So Spider-Versity is another project that people can grab on stands. That is something I'm co-writing with the great Joe Kelly, art by Perry Perez, and that is a kind of big Spidey family story. We're talking Peter, we're talking Miles, Gwen, Peter makes a cameo. He's not one of the main characters. Miles, Gwen, Spider-Boy, Spider-Girl, Aranya, Jessica Drew's in there. They are all kind of at the spider training camp set up by Norman Osborn. If you've been reading ASM now, you know that Norman Osborn's kind of taking a crack at being a good guy. And kind of one of the things he did is set up this kind of training camp for the spiders so that they could all, learn to work more as a team like the X-Men or the Avengers. And he might have some nefarious designs. So yeah, that's been a super fun book to do. And Perry Perez art. Oh my God, his fight scenes are so cool. And yeah, I just I love those characters, and it's been such a fun project and so fun to work with Joe. I've been reading Joe since I was a kid, and to get to work with him on something is just really, really awesome.
So, I mean, one of the conceits of the setup for
Hmm.
Spider-Versity was Norman Osborn telling, I believe it was Miles, "You guys need to learn how to beat me."
Yeah.
So, taking the turn that the Green Goblin, or excuse me, Norman Osborn has recently towards heroism, or at least a well-intended attempt at heroism. Do you get to play with his psyche a lot in this miniseries, or
Totally, yeah. Norman is such an interesting character. I mean, he's one of the great comic book villains, and I think that like Marvel has such a great history of like villains going hero, right? Like
Mhm.
Venom is a great example. Scarlet Witch. These are all like characters you think of now more as heroes, but like started out as villains. So I think they want to like. Obviously, it's fun when that happens. Like there's just a pure fun element to it, but I think what Joe and that team are doing is like taking the emotional part of that seriously and the psychological part of that seriously. It's like there's so much wrapped in it, and it's like, why is this guy doing this? Because he's so guilty, and like, but he's been raised this certain way to where he can't like apologize, but he has to do all this stuff to try and make up for it. So yeah, I don't know. I love that they're playing the emotional reality of it. And our book, Spider-Versity, is pretty fun. It's pretty quippy, but I think we are also trying to like, realize the emotional reality of these hero characters having to trust this guy who's done this awful stuff. Like just this
yeah,
guy who's had
very
this
awful.
awful past. And like I don't know, it's juicy and it's interesting. And I think part of what makes Pete such a great hero is that like he sees the best in people and he wants people to be better and he wants to forgive them. And like as much as these kind of younger spider characters, they're all their own character and they've all
Hmm.
had their own great history, but like to a certain extent, they all kind of look up to Pete and like, and I think there's this idea of like, this is crazy that we're doing this, but if Pete can forgive this guy, we can at least give it a shot. So I think that that's kind of the emotional push pull that's going on in the book. And it's a fun adventure. It's on a college campus. We got lots of weird villains, so you're getting a lot of like fun razzle dazzle. But also, yeah, I know everybody making it is trying to like really realize that there is some like big emotional stuff going on under the surface.
Now, since and without giving anything away, of course, is Spider-Verse kind of tying into the build-up to Amazing Spider-Man 1000?
Yeah, so I genuinely don't know. I am not, I have not been in those meetings, but I do, I know Joe has said that like some stuff that's happening in Spider-Versity will matter in ASM 1000. So yeah, if you're a Spidey completist, I mean, I think we're all going to get ASM 1000. Oh my gosh. And I will be reading it with everybody else, just to be very clear. I have not gotten a preview. I'll just be down there on Wednesday grabbing my copy. But yeah, if I think if what Joe has said has been any indication that like you will recognize stuff from Spider-Versity and ASM 1000. So yeah, I hope folks read it. If definitely if you're a completist, it's a great reason to get it. But I think it's a really like fun, cool book on its own too.
Now, is there a character in of the Spider family that you know enjoy writing the most, or find, or on the opposite of that, find difficult or more difficult to write?
Yeah, I mean, I've loved writing Gwen. Gwen's awesome, and I think I knew that she was an awesome character. But like, getting to write dialogue for her is just so great. She's so funny in her own specific way. She's not a Pete clone. She's like her own thing, and she's more cynical, and she's more of a lone wolf. And I think that like her teaming up with people is interesting because you could tell it kind of goes against her nature a little bit. She is and we talk about that in the book about how the teams are sometimes a weird fit for the spider characters and they do
Right.
it but it's not for long. And yeah, I think she's so great and funny, and I love that she's in a band, and I love that she's kind of a punk. I think that's like a great part of her personality that I really can relate to. So yeah, I don't know. Gwen's fantastic. She's such a good character, and I can see why she's become so popular in kind of a relatively short amount of time. It's just because like
Sure.
she's awesome. Yeah, and as far as like characters that are a little more difficult to write, I mean, I think that like with Norman, you really have to think about everything he's saying because like he does have this like really intense history. And I've been a Spidey reader for a long time, but I want to make sure I'm like, make sure I'm honoring all the history and all the stuff that's, come before it. So.
And how are you collaborating with Joe? I mean, does he provide an outline and say, here's your sandbox that you can play in, or is it a more collaborative or?
Yeah, so we had a lot of meetings kind of early on. I think Joe had a lot of stuff for the setup in mind, and kind of like where it would end up. And yeah, I think the kind of filling in the gaps is a lot of what I'm doing. And also I'm gonna, give credit to all the great Spidey editors out there. Nick Lowe has been so great to work with, and he obviously has an awesome vision for this book, and yeah, and kind of like how it is supporting all the other Spidey books. So yeah, it's been kind of a team effort. Joe's definitely the mastermind, and he has all the signposts, and obviously there's just kind of stuff in the middle that I'm filling in a little bit more and kind of writing the dialogue and stuff. So yeah. And he gives notes on all the scripts too, so there's always like a pass where you take Joe's always great thoughtful notes.
Who wouldn't want to listen to notes from Joe Kelly? Like,
no, I know. I feel privileged to get them. I know as a creative person, sometimes like getting notes can be a little, a little uncomfortable sometimes, especially if you're not nuts about who's giving them to you. But like when a guy who's as accomplished and awesome and nice as Joe Kelly gives them, you're like, yeah, awesome. This is gonna make it better. So yeah.
sure.
And will the all new Venom be popping into this Spider-Versity, or are they kind of two separate?
Yeah, they're separate books. So yeah, Spider-Versity. We no Venom action in that book. You will see a symbiote. You will see a symbiote that you've come to know and fear. So yeah, keep reading for that. But yeah, no Venom and nobody from Web of Venom. But yeah, as I mentioned, the Amazing Venom coming soon.
Yeah.
And how is it? Because I read the what is it, the Web of Venom, the one shot.
Mm-hmm.
How is it writing the symbiotes? Dialogue, because there's a lot of seems to be like a lot of fourth wall stuff you usually see with like Deadpool and stuff.
Fourth wall stuff. Maybe I'm not. Is
maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah, I don't think
there's definitely an element of giving the symbiote its own personality to bounce off of its host that I think is interesting. And it's Al Ewing is doing something along those lines in the adjectiveless Venom book right now, but you've definitely put your own spin on it over there in the Web of Venom / Amazing Venom.
Yeah, thanks. That's nice of you to say. So yeah, I think I do like the Venom, symbiote stories. They do have this kind of buddy comedy element to them of like, but what if your buddy lived inside your brain or could become your clothes? So I think it's such a fun idea, and definitely like a lot of writers have done a great job with that in the past. Al particularly does such a great job with it. Yeah, Venom now has been just so cool the past year or so. And yeah, so I kind of tried to bring a little bit of that flavor to it. This is a new symbiote, so it's not Venom, it's not Carnage. It's an all new one. So I tried to kind of give him his own little personality, and kind of his backstory is that he's just been stuck in a jar for hundreds of years. So he's like, I'm out, let's do it. And if you're attached to a hive mind, you can see all these adventures that all these other symbiotes are having. So that's kind of his where he's coming into the story of like, I've been in this jar. Let me out. Let's wreck shop, or let's be heroes. So I think that like this symbiote is just like ready to live life. So yeah, I think that was the kind of personality that we gave him, and that's kind of like what's pushing his side of the adventure.
Did you put any of your own personality into the symbiote? Because it's a brand new character, so
yeah.
Slate.
I mean, I can definitely relate to kind of like and I think everybody feels like this at some point, of like this idea of feeling trapped, or this idea of feeling like you're not where you want to be, or you're kind of you're a prisoner to your responsibilities. And I think I tried to put a little bit of that into it, of just like, what happens when you can finally start living your best life, of like when you do get a job that you love, or you do move to a city you love. In this guy's case, he's out of a jar and into the real
Right.
world. But yeah, so I'm trying to bring a little bit of that to it, of like the excitement of when you see the possibilities, when you see how many possibilities are in the world. So yeah.
Now, do you worry at all about too many symbiotes, as it were, in the Marvel U?
I mean,
Oversaturation, I guess.
yeah, I think they're fun. There's a lot of symbiote characters for sure, and I think that like that is something that they're going to be addressing in the books coming up. So yeah, keep reading. I would say, if that's a
Okay.
concern of yours, keep reading.
Well, all right. I like it. To be continued.
Mm-hmm.
So what other projects do you have on the boil right now that you can tell us about?
I think I'll go ahead and replug the Amazing Venom. That's the kind of big one that's coming out. Yeah, if you want signed copies of it in the mail, I'm doing a little program with a great comic shop here in LA called Collector's Paradise. So if you want all 5 issues of that Amazing Venom shipped right to you for cover price, we got a little shortened URL, bit.ly/goofriends, bit.ly/goofriends. And yeah, that's a great way to get all the books signed, support a great local comic book shop. And yeah, I'm so stoked on it. I can't wait for people to check it out. It's a a little more of a fun, crazy, wild Marvel story. Yeah, it's kind of cosmic. We go on a little cosmic road trip. So yeah, and we get to go to some really fun, weird crevices of the Marvel universe, and lots of cameos, lots of fun pop-ups from Marvel favorites. So yeah, I'm stoked on it. I think it's a really fun tone and vibe, and yeah, I can't wait for people to check it out.
Well, definitely considering who the host of this new symbiote is, like taking that person cosmic and into weird nooks and crannies of the Marvel universe definitely is a situation that's rife with comedic potential.
Here's hoping. From your lips to God's ears.
That's why. That I think that's where I was trying to compare it to like Deadpool with the comedy. I noticed there was a lot of comedy beats within the story and the banter between the host and the symbiotes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a fun comedy setup. I think, like we were talking about before, yeah, there's a little bit of a mismatched buddy element to any Venom story or any symbiote story. So yeah, I think we're like just having a lot of fun with that.
So I've started reading it, but tell us a little bit about Youth Group.
Sure, I'd love to. Youth Group is the book I did with First Second after Bubble, and that is a YA horror comedy about teenage exorcists. Art by the great Bowen McGurty. Just did a wonderful job drawing this book. My God, yeah, it's funny, it's spooky, it's kind of like Buffy, it's kind of Shaun of the Dead, and it's horror comedy. And yeah, I grew up in a goofy youth group in Orange County, California. So this is set in the 90s when I was doing it. And yeah, the premise is like, what if the goofballs you went to school with, what if the goofballs you went to church with actually had to do exorcisms? So that was kind of the jumping off point of the story. So yeah, that's Youth Group in stores now. Get it anywhere you get your books. Tons of fun. I'm really proud of that book. I really think it turned out great. And again, just like Bowen McGurty drew the hell out of it. And yeah, it's fun. It's definitely like, it's got demons and it's got monsters, but it's a very personal story. I definitely like used a lot of details that I, details from my own life, from my own childhood to tell the story. So yeah, it's fun. It was so fun to see it come to life like that.
Now, how is it working with First Second? Because I know that recently they're one of those up and coming publishers. That. So how did you get connected with them, and how is it working with them?
Great. Yeah, they're awesome. They make really beautiful books. Yeah, if you read First Second books, they obviously look great because the art, but they also like make very high quality, cool, a lot of hardback books. So there's always very beautiful objects. I appreciate that about the first, second books. They always like look real nice on the shelf. Yeah, so they were the ones who got in touch about adapting Bubble. They were fans of Bubble, the podcast, and a great editor over there, Callista Brill, got in touch and said, we've talked about making this into a comic. Is it a project you want to do? So, yeah, I've worked with her and a great editor named Ben Wilgus, who I think is not a full-time employee over there, but a great freelancer. And yeah, he worked on both Bubble and on Youth Group. And yeah, they're awesome. I love them. I owe they changed my life by asking me to do Bubble. So I'm always like such a big fan of theirs. And yeah, I will always be a reader of theirs for sure.
And how do you approach things? Approach your creator-owned work, and the stuff from Marvel. Because with Marvel you have to kind of stay within a certain parameter of a sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's different and it's not different. There's like like a graphic novel can be as many pages as they will allow you to make it. And like a issue of a comic has to be 25 or 20 pages. So there's like the page counts, and obviously the scheduling for a monthly comic is very fast compared to a graphic novel. So yeah, like workflow differences, so and all that stuff. But like a good story is a good story, and good characters are good characters. So yeah, and I think I try and even if I'm doing something for Predator or doing something for Spider-Man, try and make it personal in some way. So yeah, like Youth Group obviously has so many very specific details from my life, but I also see a lot of myself in the Predator story and all the Venom stuff. So I try and like, I try and care about all of these things in the same way. And yeah, there's some little differences in how you work and workflow and the technical side of it, but like, storytelling, and characters are characters, and yeah, and I think once you get past the like, here's how I format the script stuff, writing and telling stories is very similar, no matter what your medium is or the publisher you're working with.
You find that writing in the confines of a 20 to 23 page monthly comic versus a graphic novel where more or less the sky's the limit, it can be constrictive. Constrictive.
It's different. I don't think it. Yeah, it's just kind of a different way of working. I don't like prefer one to the other. They're both really fun and cool, and I'm very lucky that I've gotten to do both of them. And yeah, I think that there's more specifics on how you have to do it with a monthly comic, but I don't find them unpleasant or like not fun to work with. I'm not like, maybe talk to me once I've been doing it for 30 years or something, and I'll be a, cranky Alan Moore type with an even longer beard. Man. Yeah, but right now I'm just like, I love this. It's really fun, and it's fun to like learn about different ways to work, like I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. I like learning about new methods and working with new people and learning how different ends of the business work. So yeah, I have not felt like the rules of monthly comics are a burden. I think that they're fun, and I've liked learning about them.
Go ahead, Chad.
I was going to say, working on, comedy shows on TV. Mm-hmm. How is the transition from writing to TV to writing for comics for you? And was there any elements of, writing for TV that you maybe brought into comics?
Yeah, as far as elements that I think have been helpful, I think that like in TV you have to take a lot of notes. There's a lot of like taking people's notes. So I think that like I've learned how to like implement notes. And I think some people do it with a smile and some people don't. And you don't take every note you get, obviously, but I think you learn how to like implement the stuff and look at the note behind the note and stuff like that. So yeah, I think like writing a lot of TV helped me learn how to like implement notes and also how to like get something in on time. I think that like TV and monthly comic schedules are real similar. They're real similar. You need to work fast. It's like and like getting it in on time is important, and like getting it in on time is almost more important than having it right. So I think like you can do revisions, you can do drafts, but you have to have a draft done at some point. So yeah, I think learning, doing a lot of TV and especially a lot of late night, just helped me like learn how to write to a schedule and like knowing that the schedule is important. So yeah.
And is there anything that you've learned in comics that you might use in your next television project, or is it like you said that they're kind of the same?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like writing for, I think the fact that I write a lot of animation and a lot of comics is it has like those things have fed each other in a nice way. I think that like maybe my when I was a younger writer, my instincts were to just like write a lot of text or write a lot of jokes. And I think that like sometimes when you're doing that, like I think with Bubble, our first book, like a lot of times there was so much text on the page you couldn't see the pictures. And I think I learned quickly, I'm like, oh, this story is a lot better if we just let the images tell this story more and like kind of pare down the dialogue and like only have, the dialogue you absolutely need. And yeah, figure out if there's ways to tell the story in a visual way. So yeah, I think that's with animation too. I think with animation, like sometimes a wordier script isn't great and you want a script that like has a little more action and lets the visuals tell the story. And I think that's totally the same with comics. I've really like realized that, editing myself and making sure that the dialogue is not overwhelming everything else is really important. So yeah, I think working in comics and animation, they're very similar in a lot of ways.
Now, do you have any other creator-owned projects that you're in the process of pitching right now, or that are maybe on the boil at Boom or Image or wherever?
I have some like I have some pitches, but nothing that's like
Nothing solid yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It definitely seems like your career arc is on the upswing, as we were saying earlier.
Nice of you to say. Thank
Absolutely.
you. I appreciate
it seems to me like now is the time to strike.
Oh yeah, yes, the iron's hot, as they say.
It also
thank you. Good career. Good career advice. Always nice to come on a podcast, get a little good career advice.
Hey, yes,
I'll take it.
It seems that you like playing in the horror genre, because I remember, and I could be wrong, but you've done some Archie horror stuff.
Yeah. I did some writing for the Archie, the Chilling Adventures line. That was my first IP comic. Was
cool.
Chilling Adventures. Yeah, it was really really fun. I was so thrilled to get asked to do that, and like they turned out so good. Yeah, I hope in the new iteration of Archie, although I think they are doing some horror stuff. I was going to say, I hope they keep doing horror stuff. And I think Patrick Horvath is doing a horror thing with them. So good on you. We love it when the Archie characters get killed. It's awesome. Love to see those wholesome teens get their heads cut off. What is more fun than that? I'll say it. Nothing. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I will forever hold out for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina to conclude. I don't know if you read that, but it was brilliant.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love Sabrina's such a fun character, and yeah, I love all the Archer horror stuff, and I think it has such a cool fan base, and yeah, I think the people want more. But yeah, I do like writing horror. It's really fun. I never really, I've liked horror movies and haven't, but did not grow up a big like gorehound, Halloween kid. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun writing horror, and I think that like horror comedy is great, and I think that I, kind of took what I learned writing comedy and can kind of apply it to horror stuff, but also like honor the horror stuff, like not make it a parody, but have the horror be real, but the jokes still be funny. So yeah, I've had a ton of fun getting to write horror stuff.
Well, I've stated before on the show with other authors we've talked to that comedy and horror are difficult, not impossible, but difficult to pull off on comics page because with comedy, it's all about timing.
Mhm.
So a lot of it is in the writer's in the artist's hands.
Mhm.
And then with horror, it's about mood.
Mhm.
So if your artist isn't conveying the mood properly, then it's going to probably fall a little bit flat. But my hat is definitely off to anyone that can walk on those tightroads.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know yeah, definitely like comedy is tough in comics. I'll definitely acknowledge that. But yeah, I think just as long as the kind of the artist and writer kind of get what each other are doing and kind of get each other's strengths. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great examples of comedy comics. But you're right, there is far less common than superhero stuff and other genres. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now, having dipped your toe, as you dip your toe into the Spider Verse, are there any other characters or IPs that you would like to, have a shot at writing or have a specific?
Sure. Yeah, give me a weird X-Man. You got an X-Man you're not doing anything with? Glob Herman, Dazzler, Longshot. What's Longshot up to? Yeah, if you got a weird X-Man, I'll take him. I think, definitely. I love those. We talked about the deep cut Spidey villains, but yeah, we love a weird X-Man with a goofy power. So yeah, that'd be fun. Be fun to do something in the X-verse.
How about over at DC? What are some properties or characters you'd like to get your hands on?
Yes, I write for Teen Titans Go, the TV show over there on the Cartoon Network, and so that's I get to write a lot of DC, but it's just for that particular show. So I'm obviously I am. I love folks who give me work, but not a DC or Marvel partisan over here. I think they're both great and have such great characters. And but it'd be so fun to do DC comics at some point. It'd be so fun to do a Booster Gold or I love the funny Titans on Teen Titans Go are so awesome, but I would love to do something with the more superhero-y Titans in the comics. So yeah, that'd all be really fun.
I can't tell you how much I love Teen Titans Go. Like
Great
it
show.
is brilliant,
Mhm.
dude. If you couldn't tell from my response when you said that, I am a big fan.
Oh, thanks. It's so nice of you to say. Yeah, I was a big fan before they asked me to work on the show, and I couldn't believe it. It's such a fun character.
Well, it's reverent in its irreverence, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yeah, I something that DC I think does a really lovely job of, and has always done this, is like having a variety of tones. And I think that like Christian Bale is Batman, but Adam West is also Batman.
Yes.
And neither one of those guys is more or less Batman than the other one. And I think that is just a testament to how great those DC characters are and how you can have these different tonal takes on them, because like, our Titans are the Titans, but also the more action Titans are so important to people, and so I think that like DC just does a lovely job of like taking these great characters and like having fun with the tones.
Now, is there a favorite Titan character that you enjoy writing, or?
Yeah, I think they're all great. I really like. I mean, they're also fantastic, and they're also clear. They're all such like it it's not an easy writing job, but like it just having those clear characters. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Beast Boy joke. Oh yeah, this is a Cyborg joke. It's such a lovely gift to give a writer. But yeah, I mean, I think Starfire is so funny. I think that like I like Goody Two Shoes characters a lot. My first Archie thing was a Betty thing. So I kind of like characters who are like kind of squeaky clean and too nice for their own good. So yeah, I think Starfire is kind of a favorite Titan of mine for sure, because I like how sweet she is and how she can be kind of like seems so out of place in that crew sometimes.
And who are the writers from any medium or comics, literature, or whatever, that kind of you look towards them to help you push your craft?
So I think that I went back and reread all the Geffen DeMatteis Justice League stuff, and I think that stuff from the '80s, the Justice League International, I should say. I think that stuff was so ahead of its time. Like, it is so funny still, and so cool, and does such a nice job of being a self-aware superhero thing, but also taking the stuff seriously. It's not a joke. It's not like a total spoof, but it has such a nice tone. And yeah, I really recommend, if anybody hasn't read that in a while or has never read it, the Geffen DeMatteis JLI is just like such a great, delightful classic. I love, who do I love now? I think that the Harley comics are great right now. Elliot Kalin is writing those with a variety of different artists, and they're so funny, but also have such a deep love for Harley, and they're so genuinely curious about what makes her tick. I think those comics are so good right now. Anything Kelly Thompson does. There's a great writer, Leah Williams.
Oh, I love Leah.
Yeah, Leah Williams is awesome. She's anything her name's on is always really good. Teenie Howard and Sweeney Boo did a great Birds of Prey thing that I just finished.
The
called Love Hurts.
Love Hurts.
It's kind of a weird rom-com murder mystery with all the Birds of Prey, and just a really fun, only they could do this take on the characters. I don't know. Comics, they're real good right now. Comics are very good.
They really are. We're sort of spoiled. I mean, we're very spoiled from DC. Marvel's got a ton of great stuff coming out. The independent scene is booming. I mean, totally. This is a boom time for comics.
Yeah, for sure.
Good comics, I should say.
So, you've said that you're a fan of fighting games. What are your top 5 fighting games?
Ooh, top 5. So Street Fighter #1 all day, always.
Really?
Yeah, yep. It's the best. I have aged out of getting good at them. I can no longer get good at them. I just don't have the time. But I always buy them, and I always, love to beat the story mode and then get my ass kicked online for a couple weeks. I think it goes Street Fighter and then Mortal Kombat. I love the Mortal Kombat games. They're just as games, they're a little less fun to me. But I still love them, and they have such great story modes. Story modes to those Mortal Kombat games are so much fun, and definitely if you're a guy like me who doesn't have the chutzpah anymore to get good at them, having a one-player mode that is still fun and satisfying is such a wonderful, such a lovely gift to give the players. And then for more, I like the SNK games. So the King of Fighters games are always really fun. I took a whack at Guilty Gear recently, and it didn't quite click with me, but they're so gorgeous. Those games are so cool to look at. It's just the coolest looking games, and just such great use of hand-drawn animation. And if we're talking number 5, what else do we got? Oh, we'll throw Smash Brothers in there. Not a traditional fighting game, but we love a Super
All
Smash.
right, so no love for Soul Calibur, but that's okay.
No, it was never my game.
Okay.
No Street Fighter Marvel?
I'm kind of including those in the Street Fighter umbrella, but those games are really fun. I maybe like the vanilla Street Fighter a little bit more, but the versus Capcom games are really fun.
Better movie, Mortal Kombat or the first Street Fighter?
Oh, the first Mortal Kombat or the first Street Fighter? I think the first Mortal Kombat is better than the Van Damme Street Fighter, which is a very fun bad movie, I think. I think it is a very good bad movie. But the 90s Mortal Kombat's a little sturdier than that very shaky Van Damme movie, which is, a lot of fun in many ways. Raul Julia is great in it, but yeah.
Oh, he is just having so much fun chewing scenery throughout that entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just inhaling the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And having worked in the as a comic writer for a few years now, what best advice have you received, or what would you tell your younger self that now that you wish you'd known a little more about back then?
Oh, let's see. What would I tell myself? I mean, I think like, hmm. I don't know. I mean, I think I haven't been. I don't think I've. It's not something I've been doing long enough to where I'm like, well, I really fucked up that in my younger years because I think I still am kind of in that phase where it does still feel kind of new. So I have not had time to like go back and kick myself for stuff. I think the main thing that I learned that I that I'm that I try to consciously change is that thing I talked about earlier of like having this really dialogue heavy script to where it overwhelms the visuals. So I think that's been the main thing that I've like learned and I've tried to like get better at is like, you know, knowing that the story is best told visually and how can you support that as a writer and how can you support the artist. So yeah.
Most definitely, because a lot of people, and most famously Kevin Smith, love to write dialogue. And understanding, hey, you got to leave room for the art is important.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, do you have any other words of wisdom for any aspiring writers out there that want to follow in your footsteps and go from being a fan to being a pro?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, you do write something and put it online. Is kind of how you start. I think write something and put it online. That's I obviously don't draw, but my thing that I wrote and put online was the podcast, was Bubble, and that kind of was the thing that turned into the graphic novel. So yeah, I think if you're an artist, start posting stuff online. If you're a writer, find an artist to collaborate with and post stuff online. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's like a boring bad answer, but it's like the actual answer is like that's you will get better at it. You can get your own fans, which is always nice to have. And I think something nice when people are looking to hire someone, it's like who already has a little fan base they can sell to. So if you can kind of start to create your own, that's awesome. And yeah, I think those are the two things on how to get started. And then just like when you do get that first job, just like realize that you'll have to learn how to take notes and you have to turn something in on time. So just kind of know that those two things are very important and don't fight them. Just like embrace that it's part of the gig. But yeah, but I think if you want to start doing something, do it, and and give yourself something achievable to put online. Like I think a lot of people are like, oh, my idea is it's a 3,000 page epic that spans generations and it goes from hell to space. And I'm like, maybe do a story set in one room that's 3 pages, So yeah, find something to do that you can complete. Yeah. And then that's a good way to like, to hone your craft, but also it's something producible. So yeah.
Right on.
And
don't use AI. Don't use AI.
No,
okay.
absolutely not.
Are you going to be hitting the convention scene?
Yeah, I will be at San Diego Comic-Con, so please come find me out there. I've got panels and signings and stuff that I'll be posting about on social media. So yeah, follow me on Instagram and the Blue Sky, and I'll be posting my San Diego Comic-Con schedule there.
Very cool. All right. Well, Jordan Morris, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah,
we
thanks,
really
guys.
appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. Great to talk to you. And yeah, I'll throw out the URL one more time: bit.ly/goofriends. That's how you pre-order The Amazing Venom.
What, send it to me in an email, and I'll make sure I include it on the post when it goes up on
thanks, man.
Monday.
Thank you.
So.
Well, Chad, today's Monday, which is not our normal night to record, so that means this was a bonus episode. So for our normal episode on Thursday, who are we talking to?
Ben Percy is stopping by.
Ben Percy? You don't say. That's going to be a good one. So yeah, everybody listening, check us out on Thursday at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock East Coast. and we'll be talking with Ben Percy about some things, probably some comic things if you push us. And thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us. You can always support us at comic-watch.com. Get out there, folks. Do some good in the world. Support local art. Support local comic book stores. Just anything and everything you can do to help make the world a better place. And fight trillionaires. So, with that, our guest this evening has been Jordan Morris. Check out Spider-Man Spider-Versity right now, and coming in September, The Amazing Venom. They are going to be good. They're good and going to be good books. Until next time, we are the Comic Watchers, and this is our show. Thank you.